What's up, everybody? It's Izzy, and in this video I'm going to talk about using AMRAPs as an auto-regulatory mechanism for percentage-based lifters. So first of all, let's talk about why you might want to use AMRAPs in the first place. Well, here's the thing. If you're on a percentage-based program, typically many programs will not have you adjust your max unless you test for a new max and it's higher. One of the problems with that is that if you're more of an intermediate lifter, sometimes you can make really rapid progress. And if you're going 12 weeks without adjusting anything and you're getting significantly stronger, by the end of your program, you might be 5 or even, if you're really lucky, 10% stronger than what your previous max was. And if that's the case, your volume work or even your heavy days are going to be significantly easier than they were intended to be. And you might not be getting the optimal training effect. In other words, that might slow your progress down versus if you adjusted your training max throughout the training cycle. So for example, let's say that I gave somebody a test workout where it was 2 sets of 3 and then a third set of 3 or more reps, an AMRAP set. And for those who are unfamiliar, AMRAP means as many reps as possible. Now, if that lifter got 8 to 10 reps at 85%, we know that that is no longer 85% for that lifter. And what we can do is for the next training week, we can adjust their max to something that more realistically reflects their current strength levels. So even though it's not as quick as RPE auto-regulation where you can, regulate within a workout, with AMRAPs, you can regulate from week to week. And this is actually something that is done in a lot of Mike Zordos's DUP programs, for example. So it's a very common tool that's being used by very successful lifters. Now, there are problems in my experience with AMRAPs, and we're going to talk about how you can somewhat mitigate them, but they exist nonetheless. So one of the common criticisms of RPE that people have is that they don't like to think during a set, right? So they're doing their reps and they're thinking about what the RPE is. Well, one of the reasons why I actually don't teach RPE that way is because I don't like lifters thinking about the difficulty of the set during the set. So for RPE training, if someone was supposed to do, 3 reps at 9, I would just have them focus on getting 3 reps in that set no matter what. And then after the set, they can rate the RPE as soon as they're done. And they can check, the video to match it with their subjective rating to come up with a realistic RPE on how many more reps they could have done. I don't want them actually thinking about it during the set. Now with AMRAPs, unless you're telling someone to go to absolute failure where there's no doubt they could have done another rep, the lifter is sitting there thinking about how many reps that they should do. Should they keep going? Should they stop? Or are they truly at the desired RPE on the AMRAP? So if I gave somebody, an AMRAP set and I said, okay, stop at RPE 9, let's say they're doing heavy squats and the bar's on their back, crushing them down, and they're like, well, that was probably an RPE 9 or was it an RPE 8? You don't want to have like that devil and angel on your shoulder trying to convince you to do another rep or not do another rep when you're under PR weights. It's not that productive, right? It can be a real issue for certain lifters because certain lifters are always going to stop shy of the intended RPE and certain lifters are always going to be too aggressive and push too close to RPE 10. So one of the ways that you can mitigate this to a certain degree with AMRAP sets is to put caps on the AMRAPs, right? And this effectively becomes a rep range set. So, for example, I could say 2 sets of 3 at 85%, and then on the third set, you can do 3 to 6 reps, right? So that can give people a little bit of relief because, there's a rep number that it's capped at, so they don't just keep going until infinity questioning, should I do another one? Because they've hit their maximum amount on that set. Now, another thing that you can do is just pick a rep target before the set based on how your preceding sets have gone, how your warm-ups have gone, or if you're doing sets across based on how you're feeling, just pick a number before you do the set. Now, obviously, there are problems with this, and that is that you can end up, again, doing something that was easier than intended, so the RPE was lower than what we wanted, or you can end up pushing yourself to RPE 10 or even failure if you inaccurately gauged how strong you are that day. And in my opinion, there's no full way around some of the drawbacks of using AMRAP sets. So again, one of the big drawbacks is that the lifter does not know how many reps they're going to do before the set. And the problem with that is that they are then going to be thinking about it while they're under the bar. And that is really the last thing we want them focusing on, because most of your energy and effort should just be going towards lifting the weight with any mental reserves that you have, thinking about, an important cue that's key to holding your technique together on hard weights. And again, although there's great advantages to AMRAP sets, including, being able to regulate your training max from week to week on percentage-based programs, this is always going to be the big drawback of it. And for lifters of a certain psychological profile, you cannot include AMRAPs in their training program because they will fuck it up too consistently. However, for most of you guys out there, this is something that you can throw in from time to time. It may not be appropriate to test every single week. Maybe you want to throw in an AMRAP at the end of each training block so that you're adjusting your training max and your percentage-based programming more frequently than every training cycle. Maybe you're doing it every month instead. Anyways, guys, that's all I have to say about AMRAPs for right now. I hope you found that useful. And as always, my friends, good luck in your training and have a nice day. Peace.